Hello everyone, welcome back to Relax History AI. Titanic was not just a ship, but a symbol of dreams, tragedy, and grandeur that has haunted humanity for over a century. The 1997 film transformed the 1912 disaster into an immortal epic where love and loss intertwine. In this video, we recreate 25 real passengers shown alongside the actors who portrayed them, as well as fictional icons like Jack and Rose. Through restoration and modern technology, history comes alive once more, ensuring Titanic remains forever in human memory. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Captain Edward John Smith, 1850–1912, born into a working-class family in Staffordshire, England, rose to become a legendary maritime figure. From his teenage years, he began a sailor's life, quickly advancing in the White Star Line and commanding major ships such as the Olympic before taking on the role of captain of the RMS Titanic. With an authoritative demeanor and vast experience, Smith was respected as the safest man on the Atlantic. However, the 1912 tragedy claimed his life when the ship sank, with legend holding that he remained until the final moments, urging, "Be British," a testament to his indomitable heroism. In the film Titanic, 1997, Bernard Hill portrayed Smith as a calm and dignified captain who faced his fate with composed bravery. The depiction reflected historical accuracy, but added a touch of Hollywood romance, making the character both relatable and profoundly tragic. John Jacob Astor IV, 1864–1912, born into an American tycoon family, was one of the wealthiest men in the world at the time. He was renowned as an entrepreneur, inventor, and real estate investor, owning the prestigious Waldorf Astoria Hotel. On the RMS Titanic, Astor showed courage by helping his wife, Madeleine, into a lifeboat before facing his fate in the 1912 disaster. In the film Titanic, 1997, Eric Braeden portrayed Astor as elegant and dignified in appearance, yet with an aristocratic arrogance. This contrasted with the historical record that remembered him for his noble sacrifice, creating a tragic but somewhat Hollywoodized image. Joseph Bruce Ismay, 1862–1937. Chairman of the White Star Line, was a central figure in the Titanic disaster of 1912. Born in Liverpool, England, into a family with a strong maritime tradition, Ismay promoted the construction of the Titanic as a symbol of luxury and speed. However, his decision to push for greater speed and the fact that he survived in a lifeboat drew heavy criticism, leaving him to spend the rest of his life in controversy. In the film Titanic, 1997, Jonathan Hyde portrayed Ismay as an ambitious, cowardly businessman who shirked responsibility. In contrast with history, where he assisted in rescue efforts before boarding a lifeboat, creating a more negative image than reality. Margaret Molly Brown, 1867. 1932. Born in Missouri, USA, was a famous social activist and philanthropist. From humble origins, she married a mining magnate and became a wealthy lady. During the Titanic disaster of 1912, Molly shone with courage, rowing a lifeboat and assisting survivors, earning the nickname the Unsinkable Molly. In the film Titanic, 1997. Kathy Bates portrayed Molly Brown with strength, humor, and a compassionate heart. Closely reflecting history but adding a Hollywood flair, creating a lively, approachable, and inspiring character. Thomas Andrews, 1873, 1912. The brilliant Irish shipbuilder was the chief designer of the RMS Titanic. Born in Comber, Northern Ireland, into a distinguished family, Andrews joined the Harland and Wolff shipyard at the age of 16, quickly rising as a star thanks to his talent and dedication. On the Titanic, he bravely remained behind, assisting passengers until the very end before the ship sank. In the film Titanic, 1997. Victor Garber portrayed Andrews as thoughtful, responsible, and tragic, reflecting his historical devotion, but with added emotional depth, making the character more relatable and heroically poignant. Benjamin Guggenheim, 1865–1912. An American tycoon, was born into a wealthy family with a mining and metallurgy empire. As a first-class passenger on the RMS Titanic, he stood out for his gallantry in refusing a lifeboat seat, giving his place to women and children, and accepting his fate in formal evening attire. Guggenheim left a legacy of courage and noble spirit. In the film Titanic, 1997. Michael Ensign portrayed Guggenheim with dignity and pride. True to the historical spirit, but with an added Hollywood sense of tragedy, making the character more romantic and memorable. William McMaster Murdoch, 1873–1912. A Scottish seaman, was the first officer on the RMS Titanic. Born in Dalbeattie, Murdoch was renowned for his navigational skills and dedication. During the Titanic disaster of 1912, he worked tirelessly to organize the evacuation and lower lifeboats with responsibility, but he did not survive, leaving controversy over his final fate. In the film Titanic, 1997. Ewan Stewart portrayed Murdoch as decisive and pressured, but controversially depicted him as accepting bribes and committing suicide, which diverged greatly from history that remembered him as a devoted hero, creating a tragic yet inaccurate image. Ida Straus, 1849–1912, born in Worms, Germany, was a Jewish-American woman renowned for her loyalty and deep love for her husband, Isidor Straus, co-owner of the Macy's department store chain. During the Titanic disaster of 1912, Ida refused a seat in a lifeboat to remain with her husband, choosing death together in a tragic moment that became a symbol of eternal love. In the film Titanic, 1997, Elsa Raven portrayed Ida with tenderness and resolve, lying beside Isidore as the water rushed in, faithfully reflecting the historical spirit, but with added cinematic emotion, making her image more profound and deeply moving. Wallace Hartley, 1878–1912, an English musician, was born in Colne, Lancashire, and served as the band leader on the RMS Titanic. With his remarkable violin talent, Hartley led the band in playing melodies to comfort passengers during the 1912 disaster. Famed for the legend of "Nearer, my God, to thee before perishing with the ship," embodying courage and an undying artistic spirit. In the film Titanic, 1997, Jonathan Evans-Jones portrayed Hartley with calm dedication, continuing to play amid the chaos, faithfully reflecting the historical spirit but with Hollywood's touch of heroism, making the character deeply moving and timeless. Charles Lightoller, 1874–1952, an English seaman, was the second officer on the RMS Titanic. Born in Chorley, Lancashire, he began his seafaring career at the age of 13, overcoming many challenges at sea before joining the White Star Line. During the Titanic disaster of 1912, Lightoller devoted himself to directing lifeboat operations, saving many passengers under the principle of women and children first. He survived and went on to pursue a heroic career in the World War. In the film Titanic, 1997, Johnny Phillips portrayed Lightoller with sternness and responsibility, faithfully reflecting the historical spirit but with added Hollywood drama, making the character more vivid and admirable. Madeleine Astor, 1893–1940, born in New York, was a symbol of American high society. As the young wife of tycoon John Jacob Astor IV, she drew great attention when boarding the RMS Titanic in 1912. Only 19 years old and pregnant, Madeleine survived in a lifeboat, leaving her husband to face his fate, showing resilience in the midst of tragedy. In the film Titanic, 1997, Charlotte Chatton portrayed Madeleine with elegance, fragility, yet determination, faithfully reflecting her historical image. However, the movie added a layer of romantic tragedy, making the character more emotional and relatable to audiences. Noël Leslie, Countess of Rothes, 1878–1956, was born in London, England, and was renowned as a noblewoman noted for her courage and compassion. On the RMS Titanic in 1912, she displayed bravery by helping row lifeboat number 8, comforting passengers and assisting in rescue efforts, earning praise as a symbol of resilience. After the disaster, she continued her charitable work. In the film Titanic, 1997. Rochelle Rose portrayed the Countess with elegance, calmness, and determination, in keeping with the historical spirit. However, the movie added Hollywood drama, making the character more vivid and captivating while preserving her heroic qualities. Lucile Duff-Gordon, 1863. 1935. A pioneering British fashion designer, was born in London and became famous for her brand Lucile Duff-Gordon, which defined upper-class style in the early 20th century. On the RMS Titanic in 1912, she survived in lifeboat number 1, but was criticized for leaving the ship with few passengers aboard. Afterwards, she continued her creative career. In the film Titanic, 1997. Rosalind Ayres portrayed Lucile with haughtiness and elegance, reflecting her aristocratic background but exaggerating selfish and distant traits, contrasting with the historical record that recognized her as a refined and complex woman, creating a controversial yet captivating image. Sir Cosmo Duff-Gordon, 1862. 1931. An English nobleman and Olympic fencer, was born at Fyvie Castle, Scotland. As a first-class passenger on the RMS Titanic, he survived in lifeboat number 1 with his wife, Lucile, but was criticized for leaving the ship with so few people, raising questions about his honor. After the disaster, he lived in seclusion, avoiding public attention. In the film Titanic, 1997, Martin Jarvis portrayed Cosmo as aristocratic yet arrogant and cowardly. This differed from history, where he was regarded as courteous though controversial in his decisions. Hollywood's added drama made his image appear more negative. John George Jack Phillips, 1887–1912. Born in Godalming, England, was a gifted wireless operator who began his career with the Marconi Company in 1906. With exceptional Morse code skills, he served on several major ships before taking the role of senior wireless operator on the RMS Titanic's maiden voyage in 1912. During the disaster, Phillips worked tirelessly, sending urgent SOS signals and iceberg warnings that were ignored, saving hundreds of lives even as he himself perished in the icy ocean, an enduring symbol of silent sacrifice. In the film Titanic, 1997, Gregory Cook portrayed Phillips as tense and dedicated in the wireless room, closely matching history, though, in a more condensed form. Hollywood added drama through his scenes with Harold Bride, making the character appear as a tragic hero who easily touched the audience's hearts. Harold Bride, 1890–1956. Born in London, England, was the young wireless operator on the RMS Titanic. Joining the Marconi Company in 1911, Bride quickly proved his talent with Morse telegraphy skills. During the Titanic disaster of 1912, he worked tirelessly alongside Jack Phillips, sending distress signals and helping save many lives. Bride survived in a lifeboat and went on to recount the heroic story. In the film Titanic, 1997, Craig Kelly portrayed Bride with enthusiasm, tension, yet resilience, closely aligned with history. However, the movie added Hollywood drama, making the character more vivid and emotional, especially in scenes supporting Phillips. Frederick Fleet, 1887–1965, born in Liverpool, England, was a sailor and lookout on the RMS Titanic. Orphaned from a young age, he went to sea at 16, honing sharp observational skills. During the Titanic disaster of 1912, Fleet was the first to spot the iceberg, shouting "Iceberg, right ahead." But unable to prevent the tragedy, he survived, but carried the haunting memory for the rest of his life. In the film Titanic, 1997, Scott G. Anderson portrayed Fleet with tension and responsibility, closely reflecting history. However, the movie added emotional tragedy, making the character more vivid and relatable to audiences. Robert Hichens, 1882–1940, born in Newlyn, Cornwall, England, was a sailor and quartermaster on the RMS Titanic. With extensive maritime experience, Hichens was at the wheel when the ship struck the iceberg in 1912. He survived in lifeboat number 6, but was criticized for his rigid attitude and refusal to return to rescue others. After the disaster, he lived in seclusion, facing ongoing controversy. In the film Titanic, 1997, Paul Brightwell portrayed Hichens as cold and authoritarian, exaggerating his negative traits compared to history. The movie added Hollywood drama, making the character harsher and more controversial than reality. Harold Lowe, 1882–1944, born in Wales, was the 5th officer on the RMS Titanic. Beginning his seafaring career at the age of 14, Lowe stood out for his bravery and decisiveness. During the Titanic disaster of 1912, he commanded lifeboats and was one of the few officers who returned to rescue survivors from the icy waters, showing rare heroism. Later, he served in World War I, leaving behind a respected legacy. In the film Titanic, 1997, Iowan Gruffud portrayed Lowe as youthful and passionate, closely aligned with history. However, the movie added Hollywood romanticism, making the character more emotional and captivating, especially in the scene where he rescues Rose. James Paul Moody, 1887–1912, born in Scarborough, England, was the 6th officer on the RMS Titanic. Passionate about the sea from a young age, Moody entered the maritime profession early, showing talent and dedication. During the Titanic disaster of 1912, he assisted in lowering lifeboats, gave his place to passengers, and perished as the ship went down, leaving behind a heroic legacy. In the film Titanic, 1997, Edward Fletcher portrayed Moody as youthful and responsible, closely reflecting history. However, the movie added Hollywood drama, especially in the scene facing the iceberg, making the character more emotional, tragic, and relatable to audiences. Henry Tingle Wilde, 1872–1912, born in Liverpool, England, was the chief officer on the RMS Titanic. With extensive maritime experience from serving on White Star Line ships, Wilde stood out for his calmness and professionalism. During the Titanic disaster of 1912, he devoted himself to directing lifeboat operations, but did not survive, leaving behind a legacy of courage. In the film Titanic, 1997, Mark Lindsay Chapman portrayed Wilde with sternness and authority, closely aligned with history. However, the movie added Hollywood tragedy, especially in the scene where he faced his fate, making the character more emotional, heroic, and deeply memorable to audiences. Joseph Boxhall, 1884–1967, born in Hull, England, was the fourth officer on the RMS Titanic. Beginning his maritime career at the age of 15, Boxhall quickly became a skilled sailor of the White Star Line. During the Titanic disaster of 1912, he helped coordinate lifeboat operations, calculated the ship's position, and sent distress signals, contributing to the saving of many lives. He survived and later continued to serve in the British Navy. In the film Titanic, 1997, Simon Crane portrayed Boxhall with responsibility and dedication, closely reflecting history. However, the movie added Hollywood drama, making the character more vivid and emotional during the chaotic rescue scenes. Léontine Pauline Aubart, 1887–1964, born in Paris, France, was a famous singer and dancer and a first-class passenger on the RMS Titanic. As the mistress of tycoon Benjamin Guggenheim, she survived in lifeboat number 9, carrying the sorrow of losing her lover in the 1912 disaster. Afterwards, Aubart continued her artistic career and lived a discreet life. In the film Titanic, 1997, Fanny Brett portrayed Aubart with charm and elegance, closely reflecting the historical image of a talented artist. However, the movie added Hollywood romance, emphasizing her relationship with Guggenheim, making the character more emotional and captivating. Jack Thayer, 1894–1945, was one of the most famous survivors of the Titanic disaster. Born into an upper-class Philadelphia family, Thayer was only 17 when he boarded the ship with his parents. On the night of April 14, 1912, he narrowly escaped death by jumping into the sea and clinging to a collapsible lifeboat, though his father did not survive. After the tragedy, Thayer became an important witness, leaving behind vivid memoirs of the Titanic. In Titanic, 1997, the character Jack Dawson, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is often mistaken for Thayer, but in fact he is fictional, merely inspired by youthful spirit and tragic love to embellish the historical story. Rose DeWitt Bukater is a fictional character in Titanic, 1997, portrayed by Kate Winslet with elegance, intelligence, and a yearning for freedom. Rose represents the image of a young woman from the upper class, constrained by social norms and an arranged engagement. But through the fateful voyage, she discovers love and the courage to live true to herself. Although Rose has no direct historical counterpart, many theories suggest that James Cameron drew inspiration from Beatrice Wood, a strong, free-spirited, and charismatic artist, to create a symbol that is both romantic and tragic. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to share it with your friends and hit subscribe so you won't miss our next exciting content.